Hey there, friends. I'm Graham, and this is my best buddy, Luke. We've been best friends for over 30 years. Yeah, we're not that old. So, I want to bring you along for the ride. He said that he would come over and help me make his famous pizza. I don't know if famous he'll say it is, but I say it's famous. Because I love his pizza. He makes a great pizza. So, I want him to show us how to do it. So, I'm going to turn the camera around. You're going to see a lot of his hands and moving. And we're going to have Lucas help us make some pizza.
My life story in a nutshell. You know everything about me now.
Woohoo!
All right.
All right, so what all do we have here in front of us?
We have our salt and our sugar, which we're going to start out with. We just need a teaspoon of each of these for this sauce, or excuse me, dough. So I'm starting with that. No, that's it. You can see that.
And does it matter what kind of salt you use? All I had available was the Peak.
It should be fine. I don't imagine it matters that much.
Okay.
It all dissolves in water the same way, I think, right?
I believe so.
We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah, we will, very quickly.
And then we just need one of these, and I don't have a convenient pair of scissors to cut that open with.
We do. The magic of television.
Special effects are great.
Expensive.
What is that?
Thanks for inviting me on this high budget production. All right, so.
Yeah, you're not getting paid.
Did I mention that I have somewhere else to be right now?
So a packet of yeast.
Yep. All
And
dry.
I didn't know which kind of yeast to get, so I just got the fast acting.
That's fine. That's the stuff we use pretty much.
Okay.
There's different brands, but it's basically the same thing. So we take our cup of warm water.
1 cup of warm water.
As hot as you could basically get out of the tap. It usually cools down enough.
Okay.
It'll be roughly 90 to 100 degrees when it comes out. That's about what you want. Get the yeast activated. That sugar in there is to feed the yeast. So that it has
Okay.
something to feed on, so it'll be able to rise better. And the salt's just, because, everything needs a touch of salt. And then basically you should just stir it until I can get all these big clumps of yeast, at least most of the way broken up. The water should look kind of
Milky.
milky. Yeah, that's a good word for it.
And a little bit of brown.
Kind of a brownish milky color, yeah.
Like a goat milk or something.
Ew, but it smells good. It smells like rotten milk.
Rotten milk. That smells good.
Ew, I know. It smells like rotten eggs.
No. That has a very sulfury kind
Yeah, I was
of.
gonna say there's no sulfur to this, so. Okay, so that's good enough.
Okay.
And then this guy here, gonna get all greasy already. Imagine that is-
Pull right out, I think.
And then, so roughly 2 tablespoons worth of oil. I just eyeball it because
2 tablespoons of oil. Now you can use olive oil or
vegetable oil.
okay. As long as you got some sort of oil.
Yeah.
And roughly 2 tablespoons.
How can I help? Oh, it smells like
Well, if you are able to use a can opener, you can open the tomato sauce can, and we can pour that into the empty cup that we use for the water.
I can do that.
And we'll need that in just a minute here. And then
I'm good at
this is yeast that made it in our little cup. Okay,
I'm good at that. How many cans do we need?
just one.
Okay.
Yeah, just the one can. And then we just have to make sure we got 2.5 cups of flour. This is, wow, that's a big half cup.
Can I help you?
2.5 cups of flour. You think there's 2.5 cups in there?
I think we're gonna run out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I might have to pause for a second and go grab some more, huh?
I think so.
That's
I just
one.
tightened it up so
That's
I can.
that's the second one, so this is 3. There's 5 altogether.
Yeah, the half cups, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video right here. Nothing else is gonna happen.
Nothing important.
We'll be right back. And with the magic of television,
All 5 scoops of flour are in here, and I'm just mixing them in.
so 2.5 cups
This is the best part.
or
Whoa.
5 half cups.
And depending on
you
your,
can eat flour.
it's a very precise amount of flour to water ratio. So sometimes after you've stirred it up a bit, you'll look at it and say, oh, this is too dry. You know, and then you just add a sprinkle of water to it, and that usually is enough to just tip it over the edge into being right.
Okay.
Or sometimes it's a little too wet, and you just add a sprinkle of flour to balance it out. But it just depends. It's because it's such a precise ratio that it's real sensitive
Do we
to that
have
little
an-
thing.
I'm sure the more humid the air is too probably has something to do with it.
It could, and if you wait too long, I mean, I imagine there's a little bit of evaporation loss.
Do
and
we
stuff,
have
so-
everything we need? Pepperoni,
Yes.
olives.
We got it all.
Put her down here so I can get a
I
little more
never
elbow
needed
grease
dough
into it.
before.
So Luke, tell me
wanna-
about
I
tell me
wanna
about the
plop it.
protein that you used to use.
I'm gonna plop it on the
You mean as far as like the meat?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna plop it on the table.
Well, the olden days, back in the 80s and 90s, there was a brand of turkey ham called Mr. Turkey that used to be available around here, and that's been not available for a while now. So I used other brands of turkey ham, but I don't know. I kind of got sort of tired of it myself, and I found
Would
this.
you just plop it on the table?
I found that the
Go to.
what am I trying to say here? The amount of the salt content in those was really high because they were like a totally processed meat. And so I switched to actual ham about a year or two ago and haven't gone back since.
Well, I remember we years ago you'd go and buy a big chunk of it and
That
you'd have the
looks
deli
fun.
slice it
Yes.
real thin.
That's just plotting.
And then at some point in time, either you or your mom had a deli slicing machine and you guys would slice it yourself.
Well, yeah, we had a meat slicer at home, and I have one now, but I never use it anymore because, again, I only used it for that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. And getting all the little hard lumps and, things mixed in is a bit of a process, and getting, the moisture evenly distributed is
That
kind of
looks
hard.
so fun, getting our hands messy.
Yeah, it can be, I guess, if you like sticking your hands in a bucket of sticky goop. But,
I like
Second.
slime.
Uncle Luke doesn't like getting dirty.
yeah, I have so many more parts of this that are going to get me dirty. I'm not getting dirty any sooner than I have to. So, yeah. I usually, at home, I use a smaller spoon, a metal spoon, that I can actually get into break up these little lumps with, and this spoon's a little bigger.
Will you, Nevaeh, will you go grab a spoon out of the drawer?
Well, I'm getting there. It's just taking a little while.
I bet it could take me a lot faster.
Probably not.
Well, the problem I run into is this stuff is pretty thick, and so if you have a spoon that doesn't have a real strong handle, it'll just bend the spoon. So I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, it's a pretty rigid spoon. I can give that a try. See if I can use it to break up some of these little things.
I can take that away if you want. Take it away.
I'll probably need it back in a minute, so I'm just gonna hang on to it for right now.
Okay.
But I gotta cut this in half with something and scoop out half of it onto one pan and half of it onto the other, and
And then what do you do is to spread it out?
I'll show you.
I can use my hands.
Yeah, I usually end up having to spread it out with my hands.
That I want to do that part.
Takes a few minutes.
Let's
but-
make it a big crust, like.
Well, this recipe is supposed to make two 12-inch pizzas, and they're not a real thick crust. They're pretty thin, so
Yeah,
they
they're a
spread out-
thin
they spread out
crust.
pretty thin.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Well,
I'll
there's
put
not
it
even
together.
a
I made-
single.
I made the recipe once a few years back, and I don't know if I got it right or not, but I remember you wrote it down for me one time, and
Yeah.
I let the dough sit and rise, and it did
It's-
help a little bit with the thinness. But and the other thing I think, if I remember right, we baked the crust just a little bit before we put the toppings on it,
Yeah.
and that made the crust a little more solid, so it wasn't so floppy.
It shouldn't be floppy. If it's floppy, you didn't cook it long enough.
No,
I've had to
that's
start.
my problem.
I've actually. Well, every oven's different, right?
Yeah.
And I used to cook mine for 20 minutes. I've been doing 22 now, and it's a little better. So,
Okay.
I don't know how your oven will do, but we'll.
I don't know. I got a
Dad?
oven. What do they call those? A pizza stone or
Oh,
whatever in
yeah.
there, just to help keep the even heat throughout the oven.
Something's on. The stove is on.
The
Yeah.
oven is
So
on.
now we wanna
It's
make sure we-
preheated
No,
to
literally,
400.
the stove is on.
Oh.
So now we want to make
Wanna
sure
turn it
we
off?
cut this as precisely in half as we can, because if we make it real uneven, it's going to be really hard to fix.
This is the fun part.
it's not fun to try to fix it if it's if you get too little on one, too much on the other.
Oh yeah.
Not a fun
the
process
fun
trying to
part
fix it.
is to plop it down on a pan and fly
Okay.
it out with the pan.
So, all right, I think that's about half and half.
Now watch Uncle Luke because he'll show you how to do it. It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna call that half and half. One way or the other, we have unusual pans, so we'll just call it good.
We do have unusual pans.
Okay,
I used to have 2 of those round ones that I got from you.
so I'm gonna liberally sprinkle flour on this because what I have discovered is that this recipe, the dough likes to stick to a pan a lot unless you flour the pan really well before you put it on. Now, if you flour it well, it won't stick. It'll come right off.
Okay.
If you don't, you will be gouging it off with a spatula or something.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, it's not a good way to do it. So, all right, so we'll try to get one of these off of here. We'll place it in the middle. And you're right. If you have time to let it rise a little bit, that can be nice. Something that I've had to do on occasion when we make a batch of 2 of these, and then we don't have enough people to eat them both, is actually put the one still on the pan, uncooked, wrap it up in plastic wrap, stick it in the fridge, and then you take it out the next day and cook it.
Oh.
And stick it fresh instead of having leftovers.
Well, you can buy kind of like buying the dough at the store.
You can, yeah. It's like a take and bake, but
No,
it's
don't.
but you didn't take it.
Oh, okay.
It smells
made it,
nice.
so.
Yeah.
So anyway, that works. That's a way of doing it. And then the other thing about that is that it does change the texture of the dough just a little bit because it has more time to kind of rise while it's in the refrigerator.
Do you need to flour down your pans?
I like to do that, yeah. So you want to try to, I guess, kind of help to flatten it out a little bit. Try to keep it as round as I can. I just kind of push it out in a circle. So I don't want to push it in any one direction too much more than any other direction, because then if I do, then it
That feels soft.
kind of does, doesn't it? And so we just kind of have to keep going until we get it
I'm just patting it.
into a circle. It's about 1 foot in diameter.
It's awesome. It
Yeah.
feels so weird. I love slime.
While they're working on that one, I guess I can grab the other one and kind of work on that if you want.
I want.
Grab that pan.
Me and Coda can do both of them together.
Well, I'll work on this one here, and you guys can kind of work on that one for a minute. And we'll see. You have a head start. You see which one gets done first.
Don't you trust a priest stuff.
Oops, I forgot to put the flour down.
Go slow. Take your time. Make sure you do it evenly.
Here, you
It's
guys
not
just
a
move
race.
this over towards you a little bit more. There you go. Thank you. And then,
Not too much.
Oh.
all right, now I'll try it again.
Smearing. Then pat, pat, pat. There, that should be good. Like just massage it. How do we flip it over?
Well, you don't necessarily have to. I just kind of messed up the shape a little bit. It was too far to one side, so rather than have to try to squish it all over across, I just figured it's easier to pick it up and put it back down again.
I love this. This feels so nice. You just like plop.
Make it bigger, Coda.
Let's go like this.
No, don't pull too much. Kind of want to just kind of press it, fan it out.
This is gonna take us about a lot of minutes since we're gonna do it so slow.
It's okay. It takes practice.
It's just.
I've been doing this since I was like 10 years old, and I'm
Wow.
like 100 years old now, so
Look at his.
yeah, I've got a lot of experience.
You're still younger than me. By 2 years.
Almost, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He's like 18 years old.
If we really look into the math, I think my mom, I think it was my mom that started babysitting you, and you were just over 2 years.
Something like that, yeah.
I think so.
enough battery.
Well, I think this is almost big enough here. Never made it on a flat pan with no edges before, so I'm having to define my own circle, and I'm just like,
Actually, you're doing pretty good
I
at
don't
it.
have the geometric tools to make sure it's right.
Like this.
There's going to be an asymmetry in my dough,
Wait, just put some flour on.
and I'm going to have a mental breakdown, so I'm just going to just aside for a second here. Can I help you get that a little rounded out?
Yeah.
Finish her off? Okay, let's take a look at that. So let's see if we can kind of redistribute some of this material.
They did a really good job, didn't they?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's nicely flattened out here. It's not too
Not too lumpy.
not too many spots where it's like real super thin or anything like that. So I kind of have to get it rounded on this side a little bit, so it's not a kind of an oblong blob. But
That's a super small pizza.
well, it gets a little bigger when it cooks. But yeah, they're not real big. They're just 12-inch pizzas. So, but but there's 2 of them, so it makes up for it, right?
What do we would do with the sauce?
And they're super, like, in my opinion, they're super topping dense, so they make up for not being huge by being
Right.
They're very filling. If you eat half of one of these things,
And you're
you'll
full.
probably be full, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I would eat a whole pizza. I can eat a whole one of those
Well.
without getting.
I think the kids got themselves their own pizza. Look at that.
There you go. Look at that.
They can.
I wanted a
Oh, we still have to make the sauce. Well, we can set these aside and let them kind of rise up a little bit while we do the sauce.
Set 'em on
And
the
we'll
counter?
We'll bring them back in just a minute. They're not going to get a lot of rising time, but it'll help.
All right. Chewbacca, come over here, buddy.
At your convenience, dog. Thank you.
All right.
Want me to take away the bowl?
You did a
That
really-
one we can, yeah.
You did a really good job opening that can, Nevaeh.
Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to get two teaspoons, not 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of oregano.
2 teaspoons of oregano.
Yes, Annika, my daughter, one time
I wanna
put 2
stir-
tablespoons worth in, which is about 4 times as much as what's is needed. Suffice to say, that was interesting choking that down that time. But
Do you still need the flour?
no, actually, we are done with that. So if you
I
want to
can
put that
take
in,
it away.
thank you. Actually, we're good with the spoon too, I think. Yeah, we're good with the spoon. So
How do we
Oh.
stir it?
good question. How do we stir it?
Well, do you want to grab another spoon for stirring?
Yeah, this one doesn't have to be especially strong.
Just a
It's fine.
teaspoon would be
Just-
fine.
Just any little spoon would do. Well, I guess I could technically use this, but
I want to stir it.
A teaspoon, like a regular, like.
well, that technically is a teaspoon.
That is technical. Wow.
She's not wrong.
Wow, you're too smart for me.
Find me a big metal spoon if you can. The big, like a big spoon like you eat cereal with. That'd be perfect.
I want to stir it.
Not quite that big. Like you'd eat a bowl of cereal with. Try again.
Nevaeh, over there with the forks and the knives.
Okay, so
I want to stir it.
All right, so we got 2 teaspoons of oregano.
yeah.
I want to stir it.
Now you can kind of adjust this to your liking.
Okay.
Like originally, the original recipe was 1/8 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. That's not much garlic when you divide that across 2 whole pizzas. So I've been stepping it up to like 1/2 of a teaspoon or even more, a little bit, because it depends on how much you like garlic.
I like garlic.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with like that, like 3/4 maybe of one. So it'll be a little garlic rich, it's fine.
Cool.
I use garlic powder because I don't like chunks of stuff in my sauce. It's a texture thing. You could use like minced garlic or whatever you like. But
Okay.
I personally just am really finicky about like textures in my sauce.
And it's an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce as well for 2 pizzas.
Yes, and then roughly the same amount of pepper, I think, unless you're not a big pepper fan.
Okay.
Again, it's distributed across 2 entire pizzas, so every bite. is
So
like
just
half
a little
teaspoon.
over 1/2 a teaspoon.
Yeah, I could probably do like a little less than that, maybe about 1/2-ish.
Okay.
It's kind of it's not exactly a science, it's more an art, so you can adjust it to your preference. So, so make sure I didn't forget anything. I think that's everything. Yeah. So okay, if you want to stir that up, you go ahead and do that. Make sure we get it all around in there, and
Yes, I
then
made my own tiny pizza.
well, look at that.
With the extra dough.
Oh, with extra dough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat this by myself.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the
I
nice
put
thing,
it on one of
the nice thing about this recipe is there's nothing in it that you can't eat raw. So if you did get it on, somebody that ate a bunch of it, I guess you wouldn't hurt yourself.
Right. There's
I'm
no
pretty
eggs
sure all
or
the meats
anything
and
in
everything
it.
are all,
Oh, can I
yeah, there's no
see
eggs in it,
that,
and the meats that I use, I think, are all
You can see
pre-cooked.
this one.
Yeah.
Or like edible the way they
It's
are.
not
So.
gonna be a next one.
We have our cats, both, particularly the older one, likes the juice out of the ham.
Weird.
So he comes over every time he sees me making pizza. He stands there and waits for me to open up the ham package and put some juice on a plate, and he'll lick it up. And it's the weirdest thing.
It is weird.
But he likes to be involved. He's got to
Look
be.
at my tiny.
He's got to get his. He's got to get his paws into the mix. All right. So then that looks pretty good. You got that well truly mixed up there. Let's see. We got.
I'm gonna.
Ah!
Oh,
now
that
you
doesn't
gotta
go back in.
Yep,
That
now you gotta
doesn't
get a
go
new
back in.
spoon.
Yeah.
Go grab a new
Or
one.
we can. Yeah.
Nevaeh, will you? Hey, Nevaeh, will you grab the old one?
I'll trade you. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. You're not sir.
Oh.
You're a sir. I don't know what's going on.
Can I put my sauce on my tiny pizza?
Okay.
Maybe at the very end?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I'll
mine
take
will be
the,
last.
I'll take the half out of here that I need for this one, and then we'll give you the other one. How's that sound?
Yeah. I only need like about not a half. Not even.
It should be the same. It should be the same. Let's see. Oh, that's the metric side.
I'm gonna continue flattening it out.
And then, oh, I see what she's trying to say. Just get like a spoonful here. Should be about enough. It always looks like too much when you first pour it on there, but it spreads out and it's not. So,
Okay.
all right. So then we should be able just to put this on here.
It's a very, very, very simple recipe.
Yeah, it is. That's why I like it. It doesn't require a lot of prep work, a lot of fancy recipes,
You're
stuff
fine.
to keep track of. Just and the cleanup's not too bad. The bowl with the dough is the hardest part to clean up. This just rinses out. So
Right. Yeah, not a whole lot of dishes.
no, not really.
Huh.
Let's try to get it somewhat evenly on here. I think this might be a little small, but that's okay.
Grab the.
We're probably going to have some cheese runoff because I think these are a little small and these pans don't have a lip.
Right.
That one will be fine, but this one might not.
I got a self-cleaning oven. I'm good.
Okay. As long as you don't mind a little smoke. So,
No, smoke's good. As long as it's not, tobacco.
yeah.
Where's the cheese?
Okay. So, oh, there's a bag in there on the top shelf that has everything we need in it. Oh yeah. Reminds me, I didn't mix the cheeses together. So we'll have to do that.
What do you mean by mixed cheese together?
Well, I got two types of cheese, and they're separate. When we get them, they come in the proper size packages, and we used to weigh them out, these big bags, and it's just too much of a pain in the butt. So, got the right quantities and the different kinds.
Okay.
And I usually throw them in a bowl, mix
So
them
you
up.
have
So they,
mozzarella and medium cheddar. What size are those? Are those a pound each?
these are
Half
should be half pound, I believe. Yeah, 8 ounces.
8 ounces.
So the
Okay.
grand total is a pound for both.
So a pound of cheese for 2 pizzas. That's not too bad actually.
No, it's not.
Why do we have meat?
And then you got Canadian bacon.
I don't like meat on my pizza.
Well,
Lando Lakes. No, it isn't. It's Land what? Lando
frost.
Frost.
I don't like meat on my cheese.
That's funny.
So am I making specialty arrangements on these?
Nope, you are doing them just like we normally do them.
Well, some folks have expressed a dislike for
Oh, have
these
they?
products.
Oh.
Yes. So
Who has a dislike for what? Dakota?
this gentleman here has expressed a dislike for me.
Oh, you don't like meat?
No.
Oh, that's so sad. I love meat.
I don't know what happened.
I
but-
like meat, but not meat on my pizza. That's gross.
over it.
Well,
On
if you
my
try
small
it and you
pizza,
don't like it, it comes out.
on
That
my-
is true.
The nice thing about the way that I do this is that I don't leave little chunks of things hiding in there. If you have a piece of meat on your pizza, you know it's there. And if you don't want it, I guess you can pull it out.
Yeah, I tend to get phone calls when I do this.
Oh, we have an extra one. That's unusual. Usually there's exactly enough to do both. This is filled with juice of meat.
Okay, do
So
you want to go put that in the
that
garbage?
can go in the trash,
That's
or
the best.
we dump that in the sink. Excellent choice. And then we have an extra piece.
From the best. Oh, mine's too small.
Well, when there's an extra piece, the chef usually gets to eat it. But since there's one piece and multiple people, I'm gonna split it for the two of you. If you want half of this, it's good ham. I like
I'm
it.
gonna put a little bit on your pizza.
Okay. And then, and we're back.
And we're back. Sorry about that. I got a phone call that came in that I just had to take, or he was going to keep calling me.
All right. So now I am very obsessive about the precise geometric distribution in six-fold symmetry of pepperoni slices on my pizza. However, not everyone is as particular as I am.
Is it confirmed that you're OCD?
No. No, I just like symmetry.
You have been very particular about a lot of this kind of stuff for years. I think as far back as I remember, you've always been kind of right on the money.
So that's the thing I like. It's that I like to know that it's all. I'll give you guys some here in a second.
Okay.
I just want to finish this one up, and then I'll hand you a stack, and you can go to work.
Okay.
Now, what I don't do is I don't put one in the middle, and I have a good reason for that.
Okay.
Here you go. I kind of peeled those apart so you guys can. Some of those in there.
So,
So I find that when you slice a pizza, you have a whole bunch of little pointy tips that all come together in the middle.
right.
And if there's a little tiny piece of pepperoni in there that's trying to get cut 8 different ways, it doesn't really hold up very well. So you end up losing the tip of your
Ends
pizza.
up falling out anyway, so it's kind of a waste.
Yeah, exactly. So I just essentially don't put it in the middle just because of that reason.
Yeah. Yeah, the average Joe, I don't think ever thought about that.
Well, you know,
Hi, I'm Average Joe.
this has been changing over the years, you know. It's
pretty-
Okay.
great idea.
The recipe never started with pepperoni. I never put pepperoni on when I was a kid, but I discovered pepperoni later on in life, and well, that was that. So
On these.
look at that, radial symmetry.
I remember you
Almost.
used to order. It wasn't your favorite, I don't think, but you used to order the great big massive pepperoni pizza from like
There.
Pipeline, right? Pipeline Pizza.
Yeah,
You know
I
those
got a
huge
couple. I got a
ones?
couple of those Colossus pizzas over the years.
Colossus, that's what they were called. They
All
were
right, so we
massive.
got enough of that on there.
There's an extra.
You guys can
Put it in your mouth.
split it. And then I just need something to mix my dough up, or my cheese up in. I'm sorry, and then I can.
Well,
divvy it
I
up.
think
There
I
you
can handle that.
got a container of some sort, bowl, or
This should handle a pound.
Let's eat these.
probably,
Oh, they're on the wrong.
probably.
Has to be cemetery.
And I'm covered in pepperoni grease, but it's okay because I'm not touching anything that's going to be saved. So, all right.
I'm only gonna need 2 grains on my super duper tiny pizza.
Pretty sure we can spare those. Let's make sure to take half of one off each one so it's even. I'm just
Mix
kidding,
it,
it's
mix
fine.
it. Can I help mix?
I'm gonna do this one just because it tends to like to come out of a small bowl and go all over the place. So
Okay.
I don't want to make a mess all over your kitchen.
Like, put cheese everywhere.
Hey, it's fine if you make a mess. I'm not cleaning it. It's not my chore
Me
tonight.
neither.
Well, I have a feeling somebody else would clean up anything.
Yes,
But
Cleopatra would definitely do it.
Cleo. Well, that's a big thing.
it looks like a lot, but it's mostly air in between the bits of cheese. So when you flatten it out and it melts, it doesn't really stick up or anything. It's pretty.
Those are
flat.
really big slices of cheese.
Yeah, this is this Tillamook stuff we've been using lately. I like it because it's real, honest cheese. It's got everything in it. They haven't taken out any of the good stuff, so it's a little bit on the oilier side.
Okay.
Because it's a real,
This
real
is-
cheese. That's got everything. It's not like one of those like low-fat cheese that doesn't melt quite as well.
Okay. And so I'm noticing that you're leaving kind of a crust.
I done.
Yeah, because the cheese when it liquefies will spread out a little bit and oftentimes exceed that boundary anyway.
Okay.
So I don't want to give it any extra encouragement to do that and go
Okay.
off the side of the pan and make a fire. or
So it'll
something.
be kind of like a chocolate chip cookie.
It'll go toward the side, but
Cool.
the cheese will. I just don't want to go off the sides too much.
That's just
Help spread it out just a
two
little bit.
slices of cheddar, 2 slices of mozzarella.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right, just gonna even that out a little. It looks pretty
It's
good.
open. It's
That'll
probably
melt.
is going to burn.
Well, you'll have to take it out about halfway through or something because
Okay.
it'll cook too much. If you the little tiny ones will just burn right
You
through.
would
All
do
right.
that?
So these are ready to go, right?
Well, yeah, we'll do. Yeah, they should be good to go.
So we'll put them in the oven,
real careful
probably
to drop
one at
it.
a time, right?
I have been doing them when you got 2 oven racks. I've been putting them in. I'll take this one.
Of course,
This
we
is
have
kinda
2
weird.
oven racks.
So I just usually switch them halfway through and switch top to bottom,
Someone
vice
open
versa,
the oven.
Okay.
and then that usually works pretty well.
So halfway, you'll take out the tiny
Or I guess we
pizzas?
could just cook them one at a time since you got that stone in there. It wouldn't be a problem. You gotta put yours in first. That's fine.
Real careful, it's hot.
While it's cooking, I'm gonna go ride my bike.
Okay, so we'll
All
put
right.
that in, and then we can start a timer.
20 minutes, you said?
Go to school.
Now, do you check it along the way, or you just let it?
I usually just let it go. I typically don't get bubbles.
Okay. So just let it go for 20, and you don't rotate it halfway through or anything.
No, I've never had a problem with it. Never needed to do that, so.
All right. Well, we'll be right back in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Luke, thank you for sharing your pizza recipe with us.
You're welcome.
I have to say, this is my all-time favorite pizza in the whole world. It's
It was
so
made
good,
by kids too.
and it's delicious. Go ahead and try this at home yourself. It's all right. Make this a new family recipe. And until next time, you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. And thanks for sticking around. Until next time, toodles.
Toodles!
Toodles!
Pizza!